Welcome back, everyone. In fact, welcome to session 6 of the second season. And we have made this form a little pretty compared to what people gave us in a piece of paper or anything. And let's finish up this form and make it better. So the another thing that I need to fix, the first thing here is actually these HR tags. These HR tags is something that I need to fix. Let's come back here. This HR tag here, you can see that we can actually change the color of this HR tag with a border color. We can change the border color, for example, to red, and as you can see, the border color is changed. So this is what I'm going to do here. The first thing that I'm going to do, come back in my code. Where's my code? This is it. And the first thing that I'm going to use to fix is the HR tag. So I'm going to select every HR tag that is inside this form that we have, inside this general form that we have. So this general form here, we can actually select this and go ahead and select every HR that is a child of this general form, but we forgot to put the dots here. And border color needs to be fixed, and we are going to set that on let's set that on tertiary. Okay, var tertiary is here. So here, and let's come back here, hit refresh, and this is it. It's a little better, maybe. This is how tertiary looks like here. Maybe let's zoom in a little bit, but it kind of looks different. If you take a look at this, it was a little different what we had here. The color, the color is not different. It actually the border style. We had a border color, and we had a border width, and we had a border style. So we can border style. We can set the border style on solid, and this is what happens. Hit back, and now this is fixed. And we can actually go ahead and set the border width on 3 pixels. Border width on 3 pixels. Come back here, hit refresh. Oof, 3 pixels is so much. 2 pixels. Come back, hit refresh, and 2 pixels is a lot. Yeah, it's just a lot. So we can come back and let's comment this border style, see what happens. Yeah, this is not good. So let's clean this and put that 1 pixel. 1 pixel is good. 1 pixel is good. Maybe it wasn't 1 pixel, maybe. But anyway, and let's fix the margin that it has. We need to set the margin from top and bottom should be 10 pixels, but from left and right should be nothing. So this is it. And you can actually go ahead and increase this margin. We can set that on 15 pixels, and I think it's better. This is on 100% zoom. This is how it looks like. And another thing here, the space between these thing that we have here is actually very low. We need to increase that. So let's come back here. And how can we actually select these things? I think it was already selected. So these are the labels inside that column. Yes, they were already selected. So we can go ahead and actually give it a margin, and the margin from top and bottom should be like 5 pixels, but from left and right should be 0. So come back here, hit refresh, and I think we selected a wrong thing. So come back here, hit. So this is the label. Yeah, actually the margin is being applied here, actually. So this is it. The margin is being applied actually. So let's increase that. For example, let's put that on 50. Yes, it's working. But the maybe 5 pixel is not a good number. So we can actually go ahead and put that on. Let's fix that once more. We are trying to come up with a number. So if we had a UI UX designer, we didn't have to go and try to come up with a good number every time. So we can put that on 12 pixels, maybe 15 pixels. I think 15 pixels is good. 15 pixels is what we are trying to use here now. So we can come back here, set that on 15 pixels, come back, hit refresh, and this is it. It looks a little better. So, and the HR tags, let's decrease the HR tag margin that we had. So come back here, the HR tag, where was the HR tag? It was here. So we can go ahead and put that on 10 pixels, hit back, it's refresh, and this is it. So, and another thing that we forgot actually, here, if you take a look at the picture, it has two titles here, right? And we can actually give another title here. So we can use actually some titles for these things. So we can actually come here. So we have one div, two div, and three divs here, and we can have a title for each one of these things. We can use actually h3 tag, and we can say personal info and another h3 tag here, and this h3 tag, we have that, and this is what countries are you interested working in. And let's copy this one as well and paste this here, and we need to fix this as well. And this is how did you here find us, and this is another problem here. How did you hear from us, maybe, or how did you find us? Okay, how did you find us? Let's imagine that I contacted the customer. Hey customer, you have a typo here, and it tells us no, you should actually use how did you find us. How did you find us? Yes. So this is it. Let's come back here, hit refresh, and as you can see, we have now 3 titles here, and we can fix it. And now we have the titles as we wanted, and we need to customize them and use CSS to make them look pretty actually. So we can go ahead and inside general forms, we can go ahead and select every h3 tag, or we can go ahead and set, because we might need to change this h3 or h2 or h1 tag, we give it a heading and call it a class of heading. And so let's do that, and we call it class heading. So the heading is now selected, and we can go actually give it a color of primary color. We can give it, assign our primary color to this, and we can give it a margin of maybe 10 pixels, and let's see what 10 pixel margin looks like, and this is it, and I think it's better. And let's use h2 tag rather than h3 tag, because h2 is bigger than h3. So this is it, h2 tag, and come back here, hit refresh, and this is it. This is a little better, and we can actually apply a margin top to these h2 tags here. So come back these headings that we have, we can apply a margin from top, should be a 10 pixel margin from top. Oh, from top should be 20 pixel, because it already has a 10 pixel margin, but from top should be 20 pixels, and this is how it looks like. It's a little better. We can actually make our margins and paddings much better. Let's fix that. Actually, the margin from top should be 30 pixels. And actually, there's actually a better way to fix that. The better way to fix that, you know why we are having this problem? The reason that we have this problem is because these labels have a margin from top. The proper way to do that, it actually fix things here, not there. So that would be something that you can fix that on your own, but I think this looks fine. So we forgot to put a question mark after that working in. So come back here, question mark, and how did you find us? And let's actually use the capitalize for this, so that this CSS capitalize is actually one thing that is good about this capitalize is that sometimes you forget to capitalize something. For example, if we forgot to capitalize something here, but if you use CSS, we make sure that we never forget to capitalize. So we can use actually text transform to capitalize, and this is it. Come back here, hit refresh, and this is good now. So we have designed something so far, and we can actually customize these checkboxes here. Because if you take a look at these checkboxes do not match with what we have in our form here, because it uses a blue color, but we do not have this blue color in our color palette. So this is something that we need to fix as well. So the first thing that we need to change is something called accent color. The accent color is the color for this input that we are changing. So we can go actually in our code here. We have selected these inputs, the inputs inside those columns, and we can actually go ahead and set the accent color to our, for example, our primary color, but we may want to change that. So come back here. As you can see, the color is now changed to the to our primary color, and we can actually go ahead and make it a little bigger, so we can use that with transform. And if I told you in previous season that for transform we have so many different functions, and the functions that we are going to use is a scale. And if we use, for example, a scale 0.5, it or for example, if we point 1.5, it makes it bigger, and if we point 0.5, it makes it smaller. And now it's a little bigger, and we can actually go ahead and give it a margin right. Give it a margin from right, 5 pixels from margin from right, and set the cursor on pointer. And if you actually need to customize the color of the border itself, it's actually quite tricky, and that would be something for my CSS advanced course. And actually it's not that simple to change the color of the borders that it has, the border of it. So I think it looks fine for now, and it's good. And for the TV here, and now you can see the accent color is been changed, and we can actually go ahead and let's take a look at our color palette here. We can actually go ahead and use secondary for this. Let's see how secondary looks like. Where was the thing that we are going to do? This is it, secondary. So this is our secondary. Let's come back here, hit refresh. This is how our secondary looks like, and I think it's better. And this cursor pointer is not something that I want to use for the input. I'm going to use that for the whole label. So come back here, hit refresh, Control Z, and this is it. And as you can see, now it's fine now. It's okay. And let's come back here. Yeah, this is good. I think this is good now for now. And come back here, hit refresh, and let's put the zoom on 100%, back on 100% again. And let's come back to the code and fix the margins that we used. For the left and right, it was 60 pixels, it was good, but for top and right, I'm going to use actually 80 pixels, not 100 pixels. And maybe even 40 pixels, less than 60 pixels. Let's see how does that look. So no, I'm going to use 60 pixels for all of that. So that's what happens when you do not have a UX designer. You need to do that on your own. So this is it. We actually designed a pretty good part, a pretty good form for now. And the last thing that is remaining is this button that we have here actually. So let's fix the button as well. So we can go here the button submit, and we can give it a class and call it our btn. So this is our btn here, and we can go ahead and actually select this btn which is inside this general form. So we can come back here and select this btn, and is the btn exactly inside this form? Yes, it's exactly inside that. So we can actually go ahead and use this character for the selector. So the first thing that I'm going to do is actually give it a height of 46 pixels. Come back here, hit refresh, the height is that, and we can give it a min width. Okay, min width of 100 pixels. Come back here, hit refresh. And what is the difference between min width and width? Let's see. If I put the width on 100 pixels, for now we don't see any changes. But if we use a long text inside that, let's use a very long text here. As you can see, the width is on 100 pixels. So that's why the text inside it is not being fit in that. But let's use the min width. Okay, come back here, hit refresh. So it's actually saying the minimum width should be 100 pixel, not the actual width. So the minimum width is 100 pixel, but if it was necessary, go ahead and take more space. So that's the difference between width and min width. So come back here, hit refresh and save, and this is our save button. And we can actually go ahead and put that on center, put the save button on center. We can actually do that. So let's come back here, and we can create a new div here and put this button here, and we can give it a class of btn container. And we should not actually use this arrow because this btn is inside that, or we can actually use this is it. And okay, now it's good. So the form container itself, I'm going to give it a text align of center. So that's why I created a new division or new div, so that I can give it a text align center. So this is our btn container. So maybe I have a typo or something here. Oh, the general form, not general. Hold the alt key, and this is it. Come back here, hit refresh, and our save button is okay. And we can actually give it a cursor of pointer, and come back here, hit refresh, and the cursor is pointer now. And we can actually give it a border 2 pixels, solid, tertiary. Let's see how tertiary looks like. This is how tertiary looks like. And we can actually go ahead and use secondary for this and see how secondary looks like. Hit refresh, and this is how secondary looks like. And we can go ahead and set the background color to our light green, actually light green. Come back, hit refresh. It's on light green, just like that. But no, light green is not something that I like to use here. So the background color should be tertiary. So let's refresh, and this is how it looks like. And we can actually set the color to our white. Come back here, hit refresh, and make the font weight to that 800, and let's increase the font size and make it 1.2 em. 1.2 em, it means 1.2 times bigger than the default thing that you had. But the white color is not good for this, it seems. And 1.2 is very big, but white color, it seems that is not good for this. So I'm going to actually use a color, or primary color. So come back here, hit refresh, and this is it. But no, the primary is not good for that. So this is it. I'm not a UI UX designer, so that's why I suck in this part of the design. So the background color is now that I think about it, the background color is terrible this way. Let's use the white for that. I think it's a little better. And then let's put the font size back to the default value for that, and put that on 1 em. So the 1 em, it means before that it was even smaller than 1 em. the default value from browser. But now we set that on 1em, and now everything looks good, and we just need to add a hover effect for this. So this is enough for this session. In the next session, I'm going to make it a little more pretty. For now, we haven't used any hover effect for these, or focus effect for these things. We use a focus effect, but we can make it actually much better. So this is enough for this session. This session is getting very long, but that's it. And in the next session, we make it even more pretty, this form. And this is it. That's enough. And I hope to see you in the next session.